Hello everybody and welcome. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Wide Playmaker role in Football Manager, and let's get started with an overview of the role. The Wide Playmaker is a role used out on the flanks in the midfield. As a playmaker, they're focused on creating scoring chances for teammates. But even though they're usually more focused on passing, they can score goals as well. And their starting position out wide means they get the ball out in space, away from the midfield congestion. And that last point is the key thing about the Wide Playmaker. Their positioning on the flank means there's less defenders out there. But this role is not a winger, so in addition to playing down the sideline, you'll see them moving centrally into the half space as well. Like in this example, my goalie is on the ball about to kick it long. The Wide Playmaker is going to follow the play and make himself available for a pass in the half space. And in this one, the opponent is on the ball, about to clear it down the field to the left. The Wide Playmaker is going to get a pass, dribble towards the goal, and get the assist. The Wide Playmaker, like the other playmaking roles, is what's known as a focus role. And a focus role means that teammates will look to pass to them more often compared with other player roles. In the next section, we're going to talk about what separates this role from other playmaking roles. I consider all the playmaking roles to be of the same heritage, but the Wide Playmaker shares the most in common with the Advanced Playmaker, both in how they're used and how they play. They're both technical roles. They both excel at creating chances for teammates, and they both follow the play to make themselves available for a pass. But the main difference between the two is where they're positioned on the field. And this positioning asks an important tactical question. Where do you want your playmaker to be? Out on the wing or more centrally? Because they both have benefits and drawbacks. A playmaker located centrally, like the Advanced Playmaker in the midfield, has more passing options, since the whole field is open to them. But the drawback is the midfield is usually more crowded, and it can be more difficult to get them the ball because of this. A playmaker located on the flank means it's easier for teammates to get them the ball. But the drawback is their positioning out wide gives them less passing options. But here's where the strength of the Wide Playmaker is. In possession, they like to get the ball out wide and then move centrally, so you're getting the benefit of both. We pick up the play with my team in possession, having just intercepted a pass. This is the Wide Playmaker. He's going to get the pass and then dribble back in the direction the pass came. His technical skills start our scoring chance. The Wide Playmaker is available on either the support or attack duty, and their differences are subtle. On support, they'll sit more in the midfield area and focus on passing, while on attack, they're going to be more in the attacking midfield area and will look to dribble more. When defending, a Wide Playmaker will track back and help, but don't expect them to lead your team in tackles. Their job is to start and build your possession, not win the ball back. This is the opponent on the ball outside our penalty area. This is the Wide Playmaker. He'll follow the ball, but he's dependent on his teammates making the defensive stop. He'll eventually get the ball and we start our possession. In the next section, we'll talk about how to use this role in a tactic. There are two things to keep in mind when using the Wide Playmaker in a tactic, and though they're not necessarily negative traits, it can affect the way you implement it in your formation. First, the role has a lot of hard-coded instructions, some of the most in the game. There's not a lot of room to customize the role, since there's only a handful of options to change. And second, it's only available on the flank in the midfield, so usually you see this role in some type of 4-4-2. As for complementary roles, we've got the fullback, the central midfielder, the winger, and the defensive winger. And the Wide Playmaker is one of my favorite roles to use with two attack-focused strikers, in particular, the advanced forward and the poacher. So this is our tactic for today, a 4-4-2 with Monaco. The only team instructions are out of possession ones to make us more compact when defending. The Wide Playmaker has a central midfielder on defend next to him, and when you include the two attack-focused strikers, he'll have basically an entire side of the field to work. Otherwise, this is a pretty standard setup for this formation, including the central midfielder on attack and the winger, who will both give us width, creativity, and scoring threats. Let's do a highlight breakdown to see how the Wide Playmaker works in this tactic. We start the possession with my team on the ball attacking to the left. This is the central midfielder, who's on the defend duty. This is a role with no hard-coded player instructions telling him what to do with the ball. And there are no team instructions telling him what to do with the ball either. This means the Wide Playmaker's focus role has more of an impact, and he'll look to pass it here over some of the other options. Also note the Wide Playmaker's position, and how deep he's sitting, especially in comparison with the winger on the other side. This is why it's important to have roles like the poacher as an outlet up top, to make sure your team doesn't get pinned in. Here's the trade-off when using a central midfielder on attack and a poacher on the same side. This close positioning will improve with better team cohesion, and other instructions can further reduce this, but be aware that they can sometimes take up similar positioning on the field. But this positioning issue for me also creates an issue for this defender, because the central midfielder is going to get the ball, and the poacher will continue running towards goal. So the issue is, do you step up and mark the midfielder, leaving space in behind for the striker, or do you drop and mark the striker but leave the midfielder space? Well, the defender makes the right play. He steps up to mark the midfielder and plays the poacher offside. But the defense has a new problem, my other striker, the advanced forward. Since we're done with our build-up phase, he's making a run towards goal as well. For player attributes, I like to look for ones that benefit the support duty. So that would be attributes like passing, vision, and technique. If you like to use the attack duty, attributes like dribbling and acceleration would be the ones to look for. Some good player traits can be comes deep to get ball, cuts inside, and dictates tempo. Some not so good ones would be hugs line, shoots from distance, and stays back at all times. As we wrap up the video, a friendly reminder that I've got a Patreon account if you'd like to support the channel, and on that page is a link to our Discord server where we're talking about Football Manager. Anyway, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.